Hello everyone, my name is Diego Hernandez and I'm with the Beyond the Spectrum campaign here at Da Vinci Design High School. In today's lesson, we'll be going over the range of different sexual orientations that are out there in the world. When it comes to sexual orientation and the fundamentals, it is important to be aware that there are many opinions and views concerning sexual orientation. Today's lesson will respect all views that are expressed. There has been no consensus about how to measure or describe sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is a term that is often used to explain several different concepts. The first one is sexual attraction, the psychological state of being sexually attracted to someone, whether it is toward the opposite sex, same sex, both, or any range of different attractions. The second is sexual behavior, being intimate with someone of the opposite sex, same sex, both, etc. The third one is sexual self identification or sexual identity, which is identifying yourself publicly or privately as homosexual, bisexual, pansexual, or any of those sexual orientations. As said before, there's many different sexual orientations on the sexual orientation spectrum. The most commonly known sexual orientation, which is most of the world, is heterosexual. A heterosexual male or a heterosexual female is usually attracted to the opposite sex. So a man that is heterosexual is attracted to women, or a female that is heterosexual is attracted to men. And then on the opposite side of the spectrum is homosexual, which is when a homosexual man, which is a gay man, or a homosexual woman, which is a lesbian woman, is attracted to somebody of the same sex. So a lesbian woman is attracted to only women, or a gay man is only attracted to men. Then we have bisexuals. Bisexuals are bisexual men, women, or any person that identifies as a certain gender. Bisexual people tend to be attracted to two different genders at once. Most of the time, though, it's usually just men and women that they're attracted to, but people could be attracted to other genders in the gender spectrum, which you guys can view in our gender identities video. Then there's pansexual, which is the attraction of all the different genders on the gender spectrum. So somebody who is pansexual, regardless of their gender, can be attracted to men, women, people who are agender, people who are non-binary, people that are gender fluid, all of them. So as well, you can also see that in our gender identity video if you would like to see that. Then there are people that identify as queer. Queer is usually the umbrella term that describes anybody who does not experience heterosexual behavior or does not have heterosexual feelings towards somebody. So a queer person usually fluctuates between different attractions. So somebody who could be heterosexual for most of their life could identify as queer because of the fact that they could be homosexual in the future or they could be bisexual in the future. Their sexual orientation usually fluctuates. Also, we have polysexual. Polysexual is the attraction to multiple different genders, more than two typically, or more than three, but not all of them. So somebody could be attracted to men, women, people that are agender, and people that are non-binary. Those people usually identify as polysexual. Then you have demisexual. Demisexual people are people that tend to not really experience any sort of attraction except through a strong bond with somebody. So somebody who is demisexual usually falls in love with somebody or has sexual feelings with somebody through a long period of time of being near them or being friends with them. So people that are demisexual tend to fall in love with people that they're friends with for more than like 5 years or 10 years, depending on the person. As said before, we usually experience romantic and sexual feelings for somebody, and the difference between the two is asexual or aromantic. Aromantic is usually when somebody does not really experience any sort of romantic feelings towards somebody, or there's a lack of romantic feelings towards somebody. And on the opposite side, there is asexual, but instead of romantic feelings, it's sexual feelings. So people don't feel the need to be sexually attracted to somebody that they know. They usually don't experience any sort of sexual feelings that much. As said before, these are only just a few sexual orientations that we're going over, but there are plenty more on our website, which is Beyond the Spectrum, dvd.weebly.com, and there we have a list of different sexual orientations and gender identities which you guys can view at any given time. The reason why sexual orientation is hard to define is due to the large spectrum of emotional and sexual attraction towards any given sex. For example, a sexual orientation lesson gave an example of a situation. Some people who are heterosexual experience physical and emotional attractions to the opposite sex or whatever sex, and desire to or engage in sexual relations with somebody of the opposite sex and see themselves as heterosexual. However, some people have no desire to engage in opposite sex relations and may have emotional or sexual attractions towards the same sex and they identify as homosexual. Now, you guys commonly hear, is sexual orientation really a choice? Well, we're here to tell you that it's not necessarily a choice. There are three types of concepts when addressing that question of, is sexual orientation a choice? The first is sexual orientation and is defined by sexual attraction or emotional connection, and it is not a choice. That is something that you feel. You don't choose to feel that way. Many experience attraction without a conscious agenda or intention. Actions such as sexual behaviors are chosen aside from behaviors such as rape and sexual assault. One person's sexual behavior may not necessarily be the same as their partners. People may choose not to act on sexual attractions due to social norms, religion, moral beliefs, or customs of their culture. The third is sexual and self identification is based solely on reflection of oneself. One's sexual orientation or identification may not correlate with one's sexual attraction or behavior, so it tends to fluctuate fluidly. Some people who identify themselves as heterosexual have at times experienced homosexual attractions or have engaged in homosexual behavior. Some people who identify as homosexual are doing the opposite. They have had feelings of heterosexual behavior feelings or have acted upon it. The third is that people often use their personal beliefs or values to help them decide or to kind of identify within a sexual orientation and decide what their feelings are towards that sexual orientation. If you are confused or are trying to figure out your sexual orientation or gender identity, please contact the Trevor Project, and their number is 866-488-7386, and the number will be posted in our description below. And they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so you can contact them whenever. And we hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll hope to see you soon. Thank you.